Sheffield Speedway. Number 10, Wolverhampton, and America, of course, Ermolenko. The man who was going very quickly, yes, number 11, Robert Barth, twice times European Grasstrack champion. Number 12, always a favourite, Trevor Banks. Number 14, a new face, but we welcome in Urycz from Switzerland. Number 17, Václav Mick, runner-up in the European Grasstrack Championship. Number 18, Borovoc Hadek. Number 16, Jeremy Doncaster, the man who won in 1990 here. Number 20, Philippe Berge. What conditions? Welcome to the Frenchman. Number 21, Shane Parker. Number 24, Henk Schneider from Holland. Number 26, Tony Forward. Number 27, Peter Lloyd. Number 28, Hans-Otto Pingle from Germany. Number 23, John Boston, the Englishman based in Germany these days. Number 30, Andrew Pollin from Germany, a long track finalist. Number 31, Rob Fortune from Long Eaton. Number 29, Christophe Dubonard from France. Number 32, Václav Werner, the Czechoslovakian. Number 33, Will James. And number 34, Paul Smith. And then another Cornishman, it's Gary Lobb, number 35. And then back a little ways, Simon Wigg, who else in that all-green outfit? The winner of the Wimborne Whopper. Keen, I know, to go really well here today. Number 22 then, Graham Jones, another Wolverhampton Speedway man. And a man with a problem, Marvin Cox, in fact, with a reluctant motor out there. Better have problems now than later. And another Frenchman, this one based in England, Thierry Hilaire. Well, if you can hear me in the paddock, Marvin's pushing back. If there's somebody up there can give him a hand. So that's our solo competitors completed, I think, Jim, as the chairs start.
Holiday, we start with the chairs. I was expecting to see Steve Jewison coming down the hill first, but it is in fact number 2, Rustling and Paul Urycz. Second in the British Masters this year, we expect big things from them. Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse won their first national only 2 weeks ago and looking forward to the aces. Third last year, Rob Wilson goes past me with Vince Jones on Roger Beater's outfit. Mick Cave and Mick Stace, they're out there as well. Nevill Penfold grimacing as he goes past me, not very happy with the conditions. And another man I don't think is going to be pleased with these conditions is number 7, our British Masters champion. That, of course, is Ken Lane and Mark Edwards. Jerry Adams and Shaun Pittock follow them, followed indeed by Marty Baker and Shane Cann. Alan and John Blewitt, a previous winner of the Aces, they go at number 10 this afternoon. Oh, one rider you've heard being interviewed by Peter York is Paul Pinfold and Peter Jones. They'll be giving it everything this afternoon. It's great to see them in action. Number 14 is Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams. Third in the Masters this year. They've been having a very good season. We expect good things from them. The Australian, of course, Gary Moon with Jason Glenie in the Masters, followed by Len and Ray Foreman. Len and Ray have had a very good year this year as well. Craig Cheatham and Gary Lane, their first year in the Ace of Aces. Number 18, local man John Hiscock, and passenger I'm pleased to see, Dave French. John Halsey goes past us with a change of passenger. It is the smiling Tony Miles. And our 2 reserves, number 20 is Richard Jenner and Nick Walters. And our other reserve, the Wright brothers, Gary and Steve Wright. And you can make up your mind which one of them it is that's going to drive this afternoon. Both very competent drivers and passengers. But as all those outfits come past you, I'm sure you've already made your decisions. Consider the conditions this afternoon. Of course, getting traction from that back wheel is very, very difficult in these sort of conditions. But who will take the 1992 Ace of Aces? It has become a little bit of a lottery, but then if you look back over the history of the Ace of Aces, when has it ever been a foregone conclusion? You might have thought whoever was going well during the season was going to pick up the Aces title. We've had a lot of surprises on the day. It's a very open competition. The interviews you've heard from Peter earlier on this morning, the riders consider it a very open competition. The track, they say, is holding up, even though it looks dreadful. They're saying they are finding some drive, so I think, as always, we are in for a very exciting race afternoon. In a very few moments, we will be seeing this challenge.
We're going to tie him from the start line here. So 4 laps then from 3 times winner of the World Long Track Championship, the man who's not so well at Bradford this year. Here he goes, the Jawa motor gun as he comes down the hill. The laid down motor, you notice, and the leading link front forks, as so many competitors are using, and it's Simon Wigg. Well, it's only a few years ago we were seeing Simon emerge into the very quick 350 rider from the schoolboy ranks and then rapidly moving on to the 500s on the grass and into the top of the speedway world. And just listen to that engine, barely eased as it goes around the bend. And when you look at the condition of that circuit, it's quite incredible. But a concentration required, of course, particularly in a situation like this when he's racing on his own. And certainly that Jawa sounds superb. Yes, he's ever so slightly in the apex of the bend there and on round he goes. World long track champion, looking very good indeed. He showed us that at Wimborne only a week or so ago. And as the last lap flag goes out, motor's on his way. And certainly a man who has been a splendid ambassador for the sport. So I'm sure for many, many years, and he's really in good form at the moment. Had a good year on the Shale, except the World Championship, of course, but looking, I'm sure, to build on that next year. Simon Wigg then completes his time session, and we have a time for him of 1:31.43. 1:31.43 for Simon Wigg.
That's 22.6 just per lap, so I can anxiously watch the clock. So, let's tell you a bit more about Barry Squibb then. His father was Jimmy Squibb, the speedway rider for Exeter, so all of you from the West Country will recognise the name of Jimmy Squibb and certainly recognise the surname. He's the owner of the Water Edge Hotel down in Torquay. He told me to call it a red rallycross car, so that's what I'm going to call it. It's a Zack Speed 1860cc four-wheel drive machine, 500 brake horsepower it puts out. A tremendous motor vehicle. He's a very, very experienced driver. He's now already on the clock, holding it in nice and tightly as he goes into that top bend for the first time. Well, yesterday it was much, much drier. He looked very quick around the top of this circuit. You can hear that he's got the power on all the time. That's going to be his problem. If he puts too much power to those back wheels, he gets nothing but spin. I think we've all experienced that when we've seen a little bit of ice and what have you. Well, that's what he's fighting with all the way round. Puts it very, very sideways coming down past me. Well, I'm trying to look over the shoulder at Harold's watch. He won't show me though. I think I've set myself up well and truly here because Harold won't let me see the watch. I know that he's got a beat just over 22.5 seconds per lap. So if any of you have got your stopwatches on him, that's what he's got a target to beat. It's a matter of keeping it up, and well, Harold's looking a bit worried because he thinks that I might be winning this competition at the moment. I don't know, Harold, are you going to give me any signs? Yeah, he's smiling a bit, so I might have stuck my neck out and come up trumps for once. That will make a change. Come on, Barry, you can do it. I know he can't hear me out there, but I'm sure his mechanics can. They'll be shouting and screaming for him to do well. It's a very, very expensive motor car. He's a very strong competitor, Barry Squibb, and if you can look at his results over the years, you can realise that we haven't just picked any old rallycross driver. He is one of the very best. One more lap to go, and Harold's shaking his head. I don't like this. Come on, Barry, you need a very fast last lap. I've done it again, haven't I? I've put the mockers on things. Everybody's saying he won't do it now. He's got to fly round this last lap. We might use second gear on this last lap, you never know. Well, as he comes across the line and takes the checkered flag, I can quickly look across at Harold. Did he do 5 laps then, Harold? Well, of course, the watch was stopped on the far side, so they both did equal distance. 1:58.26 the time. I'm sure that's going to please the crowd here this afternoon because it does mean that I've got to eat humble pie yet again. 1:58.26, that's the time for the rallycross car. 1:31.43. And
so here we go then, the start of the barn record with Steve Schofield The full speedway star, the man who won the Aces last year. Second in the Masters this year, a man on Foreman going tremendously well. Very, very determined indeed. The man who's won 6 Ace of Aces championships, the most successful man on the Ace of Aces track. So there he goes. And just listen to that motor. Uses GM power, of course, as he has done for some little while. Consider just how slippery the conditions are. Comes out just a little wider this time, heads to the finish line and gets there. The time for Steve Schofield, 21.73 seconds. 21.73 seconds for Steve Schofield. Here we go then. Joe Screen it is, down the hill. Uses Jawa power with the antique frame. Working his way down the back straight there. That's kind of typical Joe. He really enjoys riding a motorcycle. Now here we go then. Into the flying lap. And you can see him really hanging on in there. Those leading link forks. Popular now. On the long and back for those. Was a time when Speedway front forks didn't do a lot, but it seems as though they've changed that. So here again goes Joe Screen, the British Masters champion, completes his flying lap. And the time for Joe Screen, 21.87. 21.87. So Steve Schofield still with the slender advantage. Number 8 it is. This is Gird Riss. Well, now this will be interesting because yesterday he was very quick indeed. Really reveling in this. I have to say that most of our continental visitors were enthusiastic about riding here. So here he goes, into his flying lap then. You can see the long track style down over the tank. Uses the antique frame and the GM motor. Really beautiful action there from Gird Riss. Certainly the 1991 World Long Track champion. Looks as though he's going to be very, very quick. The time for Gird Riss, 21.31. So Gird Riss leads the barn record. Godden engine, the Godden frame. Godden engine laid down, of course, in this, and of course the leading link fork. Marcel Gerhard then, the man who many have picked to do well in the overall competition here. And crosses the line now. The time for Marcel Gerhard, 22.01. 22.01, so it's Gird Riss still in the lead with Simon Ermolenko and Simon Wigg Gird Riss. So number 10 it is, Simon Ermolenko, who turned up in very serious mood yesterday. Quite a bit of equipment there to try out to see which was best. And it's a man who spearheaded the American World Team Cup success this year at 31 years old. The most successful man at Wolverhampton Speedway at the moment. The winner of the Northern Riders Championship only a week or so ago. And Sudden Sam, who has ridden with us here at the Aces for the past 2 or 3 years and getting better and better. Another man who uses antique equipment with the GM motor. So here we come. We'll have a time for Simon Ermolenko in a moment or two. The time for Ermolenko, 23.25. 23.25 for Simon Ermolenko.
Well, we can now say that he actually beats rally cars as well.
Thank you, Jim. Yes, I enjoyed that. So here we go. Here comes the flying Jawa. Here comes Simon Wigg. Well, interesting. Listen to that, the motor hard on. Process that before, warming up lap, and then to a flying lap. Well, if it helps, some of our friends from Germany were saying the weather there was even worse than here, but that was yesterday, not today, so... Simon Wigg then. Beautiful, stylish riding there from the Grasstrack man. The Grasstrack Speedway team. Good year. And he's coming around now, heading towards the finish line. Can he make it? Can he overtake Gird Riss? The answer is he can't quite. The time for Simon Wigg, 21.52. 21.52 for Simon Wigg. The winner of the barn record, Gird Riss, number 8. If you like. We introduced the international rule of that touching the tape was exclusion. That's not so easy on blowy days, of course, but this is a rule that all the Continentals are familiar with, and indeed, of course, most of our competitors here who originate from the British Isles ride on the continent anyway. It looks like they're away. It's an excellent start as they climb down the hill. We have a red flag. We have a red flag. In fact, it looked like an even break from here, but clearly it's been only half the starting gate seemed to have gone up, and so we don't in fact have a clean start. We'll see a restart for race 1. You're getting wetter than we are. So then, that's something we'll all agree about. Already some keys have been found. They're up in the paddock at the Secretary's caravan in the paddock. If you've lost some keys, first item of lost property of the afternoon. Well, once again, those engines sound that little bit more urgent. From the hill they come, they drop down, they charge down towards us. And out in front as we look to cross. It was Steve Schofield in second place, but it was Gird Riss who took the lead. Gird Riss it is who and here, of course, we can pick up Pittock in fourth place, but out in front, it's Gird Riss. He looks over his shoulder. And you see Schofield, and coming up the inside, number 20 it is, so Philippe Berge having a good ride here. Philippe Berge it is who's challenging for that second spot, with Steve Schofield holding it at the moment. So Philippe Berge, I think, has gone through into second place. Steve Schofield in third. The leader out in front. Gird Riss. Gird Riss then it is. On his way. So it's Gird Riss from Philippe Berge. From tucked in behind Steve Schofield, behind him still Peter Carr, and back a little way we get to number 5. Tom Dowse here, and back a little way to number 34, Paul Webb. So Philippe Berge there, the Frenchman making an impact on the event, but it's Gird Riss from Germany who leads with 1 lap to go. Gird Riss from Philippe Berge, and Philippe Berge I believe is closing up. Steve Schofield in third, Peter Carr in fourth. And bring across to the far side. Gird Riss then, hoping in the can with a victory here this afternoon. So all he has to do is motor off that top men cross the line. Victory for Gird Riss. Billy Barrett in second place. In third place, as they come down towards us, it's going to be Peter Carr, because Steve Schofield's in trouble and finishes fourth. In fifth place, we're expecting Carl Stone here to cross the line. He does, just ahead of number 34, Paul Smith. Place, number 8, Gird Riss. In second place, number 20, Philippe Berge. In third place, number 9, Peter Carr. In fourth place, number 1, Steve Schofield. In fifth place, number 5, Carl Stone here. In sixth place, number 34, Paul Smith. No other finishers, a time of 1 minute 31.72. 1 minute 31.72. Let's try that. I'll run through the numbers in my attempted German. In first place then, number 8. Second place, number 20, Swansea. In third place, number 9, 9. In fourth place, number 1, Heinz. In fifth place, number 5, Pump. In sixth place, number 34, Berat 30. And if they can understand that, they're doing remarkably well.
Well, I was impressed, Tony. I hope a few other people were.
It's all those Germans are asking, what language is he trying to talk? So then, race 2 coming up. Mark Loram goes in this one as number 2. Urycz, our Swiss rider. Robert Barth, the twice European Grasstrack champion from Germany, goes. He was going so well yesterday. John Boston, Boris Hadjek, Clayton Williams, Shane Parker as number 21, and Christophe Dubonar as number 29. Okay, over to Peter in the paddock.
Right, thanks very much indeed. We'll grab Philippe Berge there, a good second place for him. Philippe, a good second place for you.
Yes, it's good for me, second prize.
You're certainly covered in it at the moment, but hopefully go for gold later on.
Yes.
Yes, good man. All right. Bonjour, monsieur. All right, that's Philippe Berge there. His command of English is far better than my command of French, I'll tell you that. More for the pits later on.
Take the best of the starts. Mark Loram making his way through and goes to the floor. So Mark Loram then, the winner of the Masters last year, the Kingsman, out in front and leading. Tucked in behind him, that looks like number 11, it's Robert Barth. So the twice times European Grasstrack champion challenges and pushes hard. Robert Barth tries to get the inside. Mark Loram still with the advantage. Robert Barth putting the pressure on Mark Loram. Going for the inside. Mark Loram holding him off on the outside. Barth goes for it, but he's still in second place. In third place as they pass us, that looks like number 18, Borjov Hadjek. So Borjov Hadjek is still there in third place. And Mark Loram begins to pull away up to 2 or 2 advantage now over second place. Robert Barth is really determined to stand there, working away, trying to close that gap again, but the Kingsman man is pulling away. Mark Loram then, from Robert Barth, from the Czech Borjov Hadjek. And then Shane Parker. Now there's a surprise. We didn't know what to expect when they go to Australia, but he's going well. He's switching to Australia. Pretty well rider. Big one. Sure, the second flag is being ready. Mark Loram has just come down the hill. Number 2 it is. Mark Loram who wins. Robert Barth's going to get that second spot. Borjov Hadjek gets third. Number 2, Mark Loram. In second place, number 11, Robert Barth. In third place, number 18, Borjov Hadjek. In fourth place, number 21, Shane Parker. In fifth place, number 29, Christophe Dubonar. In sixth place, number 14, Urycz. And in seventh place, number 23, John Boston. And the time of 1 minute, 35.62. So the numbers then in my version of the German language, and I do apologise to all Germans present. In first place, Zwei. In second place, Elf. In third place, Axane. In fourth place, 21. In fifth place, 29. In 6th place, Betsy. In 7th place, 23. And Peter York has Steve Schofield with him in the paddock.
Yes, do indeed. Yeah. Thank you very much. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, yes, we got him. Steve, can you just bring us the microphone? What the heck happened? We saw you came off there.
I don't know, just had a bit of bike trouble on the last corner and just give up the ghost, so I don't really know.
Well, it can't be too nice for you.
No, it's not really. I got sort of filled in badly in the first corner and was struggling after that. And but that's what it's all about, same for everybody.
And that's what ruined your afternoon?
Never, no, not till the last race.
All right, thanks, Steve. So there we are, the words from Scummy there, here in the pits.
Thank you, Peter, and our thanks to Paul and Caroline Jarvis, those super supporters of the Grasstrack scene who sponsored Race 2. Race 3 coming up, sponsored again by JT Commercial Van and Truck Centre at Holton Heath near Poole. We have Marcel Gerhard, Jeremy Doncaster, Thierry Hilaire, Václav Werner, Simon Wigg, Sam Ermolenko, Graham Jones, Andre Paulin. And Andre Paulin was going very, very well in practice yesterday. And won't be going out in race 3. There we go then, they charge down towards us, this tremendous sight. Out to the front went Simon Wigg. And Marcel Gerhard right there with him, and Gerhard challenges up the inside, and it's Gerhard goes to the front, but Wigg finds back, no side, and comes down the main straight. Two winners of the World Long Run family, but it's Simon Wigg out in front. Now Marcel Gerhard on the inside. And they've got a battle on here with Simon Wigg holding off Marcel Gerhard. In third place, tucked in behind is Jeremy Doncaster. And that looked like Václav Werner getting up in the fourth spot. Really experienced Václav Werner being put in Simon Wigg leads there. And Marcel Gerhard in second place. But Jeremy Doncaster in third spot. As they come around towards us once again, and Wiggy has extended that lead slightly over Marcel Gerhard. In fourth place as they went past us, it was Graham Jones of the Wolverhampton Speedway man getting up into the action, into the fast action. This time around, you're going to see the last lap flag. So the Wolverhampton Speedway man has the 1 lap to go with a lead over the world long track champion Marcel Gerhard in second place. Jeremy Doncaster still in third. Graham Jones has dropped out and the struggle is on there. Václav Werner having to struggle to hang on to his fourth spot. And Andre Paulin not enjoying his conditions as well, who is, but out in front then we're looking to our left. Down the hill they come. Victory for Simon Wigg. Marcel Gerhard in second place. In third place is Jeremy Doncaster. And I think, I'm not sure whether Simon Ermolenko actually had made up that ground. We'll wait for the official verdict. Simon Wigg in second place, number 3, Marcel Gerhard. In third place, number 16, Jeremy Doncaster. In fourth place, number 10, Sam Ermolenko. In fifth place, number 32, Václav Werner. In sixth place, number 30, Andre Paulin. And the time, 1 minute 35.66. 1 minute 35.66. Let's try and murder the German language again. In first place, Pumpman Swansea. In second place, Drei. In third place, Sexa. In fourth place, Sein. In fifth place, number 32, which is Zwei und Dreißig. In sixth place, Dreißig. And that completes it. Race 4 coming up then, sponsored by Devonshire Designs at Columpton in Devon. Joe Screen, Peter Lloyd, Marvin Cox, Will James, Tony Forward, Trevor Banks, Ike Schneider. Good heavens, Andy Riley. '31, of course, should be Rob Fortune. Well, what a thing to do. down the hill. Trevor Banks making a good start. Will James right there with him, and Joe Screen making the challenge, moves up to second place. It's Trevor Banks still out in front. Trevor Banks, Joe Screen and Will James swing around the horses before the end of the first lap. So Trevor Banks is holding off Joe Screen. Will James still there in fourth place. It's Rob Fortune. Well, we said it before about Trevor Banks. Success over the years. Not least in the age of 80. And it's Trevor Banks then out in front. Still holding off Joe Screen in second place. Still in third place, it's Will James. Still behind him, it's Rob Fortune. And Marvin Cox looking to move through the fourth place. So Joe Screen going on the top there, but Trevor Banks still with a few metres advantage as they come down the waters once again. So Trevor Banks is still there, looks over his shoulder and sees Joe Screen. In third place it's still Will James. In fourth place it's still Rob Fortune. And Marvin Cox just ahead and moving forward. Looking to the far side. One more left to go. Trevor Banks using all that experience and all that skill. Is going to come home first, or is he? Yes, he gets there. It's Trevor Banks who wins. Joe Screen in second place. In third place it's Will James. In fourth place, Rob Fortune. In first place, number 12, Trevor Banks. In second place, number 4, Joe Screen. In third place, number 33, Will James. In fourth place, number 31, Rob Fortune. In fifth place, number 19, Marvin Cox. In sixth place, number 26, Tony Forward. In seventh place, number 27, Peter Lloyd. In eighth place, number 24, Hank Schneider. And the winner's time, 1 minute, 36.55. And already the sidecars are assembling on the sidecar start line. That time then, 1 minute, 36.55. And I'll pass you across to Jim for race 5.
Well, thanks Tony. We move on to race 5, as you quite rightly say, the first leg of the Ace of Aces sidecar competition. Race 5 sponsored by Cara Glass Limited. We say thanks to them obviously from Wilton. Manufacturers, as you can see, of UPVC doors and windows. Thanks to them as we look to the lineup for race 5. It consists of Marty Baker in grid 1. Passenger Shane Cann for Martin. In grid 2, Alan and John Blewitt. In grid 3, Craig Cheatham and Gary Lane. Grid 4, Loram Foreman. Grid 5, Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse. And in grid 6, right on the outside, that's Rob Wilson and Vince Jones. The change, of course, Rob Wilson using Roger Meester's outfit. So we watch to that far side to see who it is that's going to make the best of the conditions this afternoon, because unfortunately that looks as if it's going to be a major factor. It does look as if they're ready to go for the first of the sidecar races. Still the yellow flag being held in the air, somebody not quite ready. It looks as if we're ready to go as the revs go up. One or two passengers' hands going in the air, but we get underway with the first of the sidecar races this afternoon. Marty Baker has been left on the line, but it's Ivor Matthews has made a very good start going into that bend on the outside of Alan and John Blewitt. That's how they break going into the first bend, as Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse fight with the machine around that top bend, but Alan and John Blewitt have come through, getting out of that top bend. It is Alan and John Blewitt the lead, but Ivor Matthews back underneath again, goes through to the front as Robbie Wilson and Vince Jones close up in the third place, but Alan and John Blewitt still there in second. Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse sprint away though down that back straight. A tremendous start to the afternoon for Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse. Those of you that were here for practice yesterday will remember that I said that they did win what they consider to be their first big national only 2 weeks ago. Alan and John Blewitt still there in second place as Rob Wilson now gets himself back into third spot. Starts to move forward. It'll be interesting to see whether Rob Wilson is used to the Yamaha power that Roger Meester has been using. He's, of course, traditionally always been with V-twin power. One more lap to go then for the first of the sidecar races, and Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse making the best of it. watch to see them close on that top bend in second and third place. Rob Wilson anxiously looking to get past Alan and John Blewitt. You can see exactly how these sidecar drivers have tackled these conditions. There's no letting up at all as we see the first checkered flag go for the sidecars this afternoon. Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse take it. Alan and John Blewitt hang on to that second place. Rob Wilson gets third, and coming across the line in fourth is Great Cheatham. Car races this afternoon and a win for outfit number 3. That's Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse. In second place, number 10, Alan and John Blewitt. Third place, outfit number 4, Rob Wilson and Vince Jones. Fourth place, number 17, Craig Cheatham, Gary Lane. Fifth place, number 16, Lennon Ray Foreman. No sixth finisher there, the winning time 1:32.62.
In second place, number 11, Robert Barth. In third place, number 18, Pittock. In fourth place, number 21, Shane Park. In fifth place, Clayton Williams. In sixth place, Christophe Duvenard, etc. Everybody moves down a place because coming in fifth place is Clayton Williams.
Well, that's obviously we keep up to date as much as we can, but obviously the conditions are not going to be in our favour as much as anybody else's because it's going to be very hard to see those numbers. I'm looking to that far side as we've got the second of the sidecar races underway because Gary Moon has got problems. But the man that hasn't got problems, we see him going to the front now, is Ken Lane and Mark Edwards. A brilliant first corner from them. They certainly weren't first into that top bend, but they've now moved their way through and got to the front. As we look to that far side and see with great disappointment, Gary Moon and Jason Glenie stood by their machinery. I'm not sure what the problem is at the moment, but as we look to the race that's in hand, it's Ken Lane and Mark Edwards that come past me, leading from John Halsey and Tony Miles. Gary Jackson up in third place at the moment, but they start to get a little bit spread out. Mick, who had a very good start, has dropped back through the field as we watch to see Ken Lane and Mark Edwards, our British Masters champions this year in the 1000cc sidecar class, come past us to take their last lap for the first race for them this afternoon. John Halsey and Tony Miles, good to see them up in a strong position at the start of the day. Gary Jackson still holding third. But as we look to that last bend for Ken Lane and Mark Edwards, a great way to start this afternoon. They would love to win the Ace of Aces title as they come off that top bend. They take a win first time out. Coming off the top bend in second, a great start to the day for outfit number 19, that's John Halsey and Tony Miles. Finishing in third, number 14, Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams. By GTS Racing Products of Telford in Shropshire, the world's leading manufacturers of quality speedway and Grasstrack leathers. I'm sure all the riders knew that before I mentioned it. But the result of race 6, a win for outfit number 7, Ken Lane and Mark Edwards. In second place, number 19, John Halsey and Tony Miles. Third place, outfit number 14, Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams. Fourth place, outfit number 8, Jerry Adams and Shaun Pittock. Fifth place, number 5, Mick Cave and Mick Stace. No other finisher, the winning time 1:32.72. So lots of drama already this afternoon in the sidecar competition. Well, we said that conditions were not suited to Grasstrack racing at all, but no letting up on the power at all there from any of those sidecar drivers. Race 7, sponsored by Square Deal Caravans. We look to race 7, where we see for the first time John Hiscock and Dave French in grid 1, Rustling, Paul Urycz, grid 2, Nevill Penfold, Paul Randall, grid 3, Steve Jewison, Dave Ward in grid 4, Paul Pinfold in grid 5 with Peter Jones and number 12, Richard Piggott. And Martin Bailey, they go from the far outside and grid 6. I remember, of course, Steve Jewison on Rob Wilson's outfit, but I noticed that when they came out for that late practice, they had changed the numbers. And with a little bit of luck, we'll be able to recognise the leathers as well, so we should be able to keep you up to date with the results. I know it's very, very cold and dismal out there, so if you want to leave us to do all the results and everything, then please do so. Bound to get confused a few times this afternoon, then that's nothing unusual for me, is it? looks as if it is Steve Jurson and John Hiscock that are last to come in line. Steve Jurson now moves to the starting tapes. John Hiscock, the last outfit. Well, I've missed Richard Piggott, who's not in line yet. I noticed there was a big gap on the far side. It is Richard Piggott. Obviously all of you over on that far side can see exactly what's going on, but straight the eyeballs from here. I can see that Richard Piggott moves along the back of the start line, gets himself into line, so the starters should be happy. You should see them underway for race 8 in a very few moments as the revs start to go up. Away we go then with race 8, 7 in your programme. It is the third of the sidecar races. That sounds to me as if there's problems going into that first bend for one or two of those outfits. Well, as I say that, obviously everybody was slowing down. We've got one outfit left on the line. We have the delay of riders not being quick to get onto that start line. It is Richard Piggott. We're pleased to see he's an entrant here this afternoon, although I've done a lot of national meetings this year. I've not seen Richard Piggott in action too much this year. He was, of course, the 1991 Masters Sidecar champion. Had a brilliant season that year, but we haven't really seen too much of it this year. I think the only title that I can remember that he's won this year has been the Barks Bonanza, and of course, very early on in the season. We watch to see what will happen. He's a very keen competitor as we now do Glenie get underway for the start of race 7. As they straight down the hill, I can see the very colourful Russell Ink moving through on the inside. He gets himself to the front as the rest of the outfit start to close up on the entrance that top end. Richard Piggott indeed was one of those that came in very, very quickly and has managed to hold it tight as Paul Pinfold goes very, very wide down near us. John Hiscock has moved through on the inside as well as Steve Jurson. So Paul Pinfold back in 5th place at the moment as Russell Ink and Paul Urycz charge down that back straight. A very, very experienced crew. Second in the British Masters this year. So a very confident crew, have been proved many, many times as they go past us for the second time. Getting away from Richard Piggott up into second. John Hiscock holding third. Steve Jurson is still there in fourth. Well, I said we might not have seen too much of Richard Piggott this year, but indeed he is a very, very strong competitor with very powerful machinery. So you never know at the Ace of Aces whether he's saved it all up and he's going to take this title. Rustling in determined form. I'm sure he'll have a lot of support here this afternoon, hoping that he'll do well. Leads his first race of the afternoon. Stuck with Yamaha power for over 2 seasons now, and indeed has been very successful with that Yamaha machinery. Well, it does look as if there's problems for Paul Pinfold. He's pulled out on the top of the circuit, but as we see the checkered flag, the third of the sidecar races, it is a Rustling and Paul Urycz to take it from Richard Piggott and Martin Bailey. Crossing the line in third, John Hiscock and Dave French, as Steve Jurson and Dave Ward finished with a 4th. By Square Deal Caravans, a good win and a good way to start the day for Rustling and Paul Urycz. It's outfit number 2 that goes in first place. In second place, outfit number 12, Richard Piggott and Martin Bailey. Third place, number 18, John Hiscock and Dave French. Fourth place, number 1, Steve Jurson and Dave Ward. Fifth place, number 6, Nevill Penfold and Paul Randall. The winning time, 1:32.07, 1:32.07, it's 2:12.18, 1 and 6. Over the page we go and we turn back to the second leg of the Ace of Aces solo. Well, before we do that, I quickly turn the page back because you can see that Paul Pinfold and Peter Jones have indeed pushed the outfit over the line, so they are credited with 6th place. So, in race 7, you should have number 11 slotted into 6th place. A very disappointing start for Paul Pinfold and Peter Jones.
So we're waiting for the competitors to come out for race 8. We're also looking anxiously over that way because some gentleman in weather forecasting said he was going to get better, but still enjoys his grass and a very, very consistently successful rider. Peter Lloyd, well, we've welcomed Peter back over the last couple of years. He went totally Speedway and then eventually has dropped out of the Speedway world and is now, in fact, concentrating on the grass. We're pleased to see that. And Steve Schofield. What can you say about Steve that we haven't already said? A terrific competitor. So then, here come those solos. They're going to go across to the solo start line.
Let's have a quick word with Joe Screen in the pits. Joe, British Masters Grasstrack champion. What about today?
Yeah, I'm not enjoying it. There's a lot of muck about and I keep getting filled in. And, you know, when you're going in the corner, you get filled in. It's hard to see where you're going. And, you know, a lot of riders are struggling when they're not making a start.
Going to be a lot of top riders in that final. Do you think you can be there?
But it's early days. You know, I've only had one ride. You know, the rest of the day gone.
All right, we wish you well for later on. Thank you very much to Joe Screen. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Peter. Peter grabbing a very short opportunity, but nice to hear from Joe. So here we go then with race 8, sponsored by JT Commercial Van and Truck Centre, near Pool. And here we go. Oh, we can actually see through the windows this time, and it's Steve Schofield down the outside, and Steve Schofield goes for the lead. Andre Pollin was close there in second spot, but Steve Schofield, just look at the man go. This is Steve Schofield now. Determined to make up for his disappointment in that earlier outing, heading for a win here right from the start. He is really flying. Andre Pollin in second place. In third place is Marvin Cox. In fourth place it looks like Sam Ermolenko. So on the far side, this is the sort of form we expect from Steve Schofield. Full feeling that what he's got to do now is get some really good results to make sure he gets into that final. Andre Pollin's still there. In second spot, Marvin Cox in third, Sam Ermolenko in fourth. As far as we can tell, he was really fired up to go. Let's hope that's not a misfire as he goes by. Still Andre Pollin, still Marvin Cox. Still Sam Ermolenko, on a little way back. It looks like 25. 23, John Boston. So then, looking to our victory there for number 1, Steve Schofield. That makes up for his earlier race. Andre Pollin in second place. Marvin Cox in third. Sam Ermolenko in fourth. Number 23, John Boston in 5th place. Graham Jones and Rob Fortune. That's the field. This is a race 9. Here we go then. They charge down the hill towards us. And number 25 it is. It's Simon Wigg who's gone out in front. Mark Loram in second spot. Jeremy Doncaster in third. And Mark Loram trailing the leader. That leader is Simon Wigg. And Simon Wigg down. He's got a battle on his hands here, but looks over his shoulder. He knows what the problem is. That problem is Mark Loram. Still Jeremy Doncaster in third. Graham Jones in fourth as he went past us, and in 5th place, number 32. Still Mark Loram. Simon Wigg. Down the far side, go round the top end, head down towards us once again. It's still Simon Wigg who leads, Mark Loram in second place, and Mark Loram getting some of them first. Still Jeremy Doncaster in third. Graham Jones hanging on to that 4th place. Fred Carr in that 4th spot, but he's still in now at the moment. up to our left. 1 lap to go in still. Simon Wigg from Mark Loram. And Wiggy's pulling away now from Mark Loram. Still in 3rd place is Jeremy Doncaster. And in 4th place, the battle is on between numbers 22 and 32. Between Graham Jones and Marcel Gerhard. That's a good match going on there. Side right. Big ball. The leader. Comes round the back. Heads down the hill. Goes for victory. Simon Wigg it is who wins the 2nd race of the afternoon. Mark Loram in 2nd place. Jeremy Doncaster in 3rd. Who's going to get that 4th spot? 4th spot just to number 32, Václav Werner, just ahead of number 22, Graham Jones. Place number 25, Simon Wigg. In 2nd place, number 2, Mark Loram. In 3rd place, number 16, Jeremy Doncaster. In 4th place, number 32, Václav Werner. In 5th place, number 22, Graham Jones. In 6th place, and number 5, Carl Stonehill. In 7th place, number 31, Rob Fortune. The winner's time, 1 minute 33.01. 1 minute 33.01, and over to Peter in the paddock.
Yes, thanks very much indeed. Another guy who is... Right, we're back on again. Wonderful. One guy who's incredibly clean is Ronnie Corey from Wolverhampton Speedway. Ronnie, you're not competing today. Why?
Well, I'm supposed to be in King's Lynn tonight. They got rained off, tracks underwater, they said. So I got in the car and drove up here. I didn't really think about the conditions, but you know, I'm here, and I wish I'd known a bit earlier if I would have had to go too.
Enjoying watching for a change.
Yeah, it is. I'm staying clean and so far, and watching the boys, the rest of them get a bit dirty. It's quite nice, I think.
I think fellow countryman Sam Ermolenko is having a bit of a problem.
Well, yeah, I think him and Charlie and all the boys that see you all here, I think everybody's having a bit on there, really. But as long as they're all having a good time and there's good racing going on, that's where the crowd want to see, don't they?
Absolutely right. Maybe we'll watch your ride next year.
Well, I think I'll have to go again. It's been about 4 years since I've ridden it, but I'll have another go.
All right, we'll keep you to that. For the moment, Ronnie Corey, thank you.
Thank you, Peter, and good to hear Ronnie Corey here. I've seen him in quite a few of the, well, watching quite a few and sometimes competing up in my part of the world, and that's a year or two back, but let's hope we do see him at the Aces in perhaps next year. So then, race 10 we have on our programme, sponsored by Gibbs Mew PLC from Salisbury, and the entry is Will James, Borjov Hajek, Charlie Ermolenko, Hans Otto Pingle, Marcel Gerhard, Thierry Hilaire, Uli Utzinger, and riding at number 21, of course, Shane Parker. Start of race 10. Here we go. Down the hill they charge. Marcel Gerhard with the advantage. Hans Otto Pingle in 2nd spot as they go round that top bend, and we look across to the far side. Will James, it looked to me, up into 3rd place. Marcel Gerhard there. World long track champion in action. And here he is. This is the star that took him to that World Championship. Hangs off the machine. Still hands on the Pingo in 2nd place. Will James being pushed hard there. Will in 3rd. And coming up from the back was really Utzinger. Back to Will, back to 4th, so the Swiss is up in 3rd place, and it's a Swiss leader. It's Marcel Gerhard, right out in front from Hans Otto Pingle from Germany. Then number 14, Uli Utzinger, is making that long trip from Switzerland and making it pay like a really good performance. Here comes the leader. That all-out riding style, the golf machine, obviously suiting him very well. Really flying along here. Hans Otto Pingle still there, but being closed down a little by the other Swiss. Uli Utzinger getting closer and closer, I feel. But not close enough yet. Here comes the checkered flag then, victory for Marcel Gerhard. In second place, Hans-Otto Pingle, just ahead of Urycz. And then Will James, and then just behind him, Borisov Hajek. Gibbs Muse, yes, possible. Yes, possible, as follows. Good heavens. It's the cold getting to me bad again. In first place then, the number 3, Marcel Gerhard. In second place, number 28, Hans-Otto Pingle. In third place, number 14, Urycz. In fourth place, number 33, Will James. In fifth place, number 18, Borisov Hajek. In sixth place, number 21, Shane Parker. And in seventh place, number 15, Thierry Hilaire. And a winner's time of 1 minute 36.05. 1 minute 36.05. Well, race 11, sponsored by Harp Lager. Now this looks to be quite something. We've got Robert Barth, we've got Trevor Banks, we've got Joe Screen, we've got Vas Milling, we've got Gird Riss. Yes, and they're joined by Christophe Jubenard and Peter Carr and Philippe Berge. Really, this could be a final, couldn't it, looking at this one? Well, these will be really hard-won points coming out of race 11, that's for sure. Well, immediately following this, Peter York's going to have a few words with Marcel Gerhard, who just scored his first victory of the afternoon. Here we go then, the start of race 11. We're looking for Trevor Banks, and he makes his usual great start. So it's Trevor Banks then, out in front. Gird Riss right there with him, but there's that tremendous struggle up front there. Looks to me like it's Trevor Banks. Racing through, Joe Screen I think in third place and looking to come past Trevor Banks, having all sorts of a moment trying to do it. But it's Gird Riss then who leads. Trevor Banks in second place, Joe Screen in third. In fourth place, Václav Milik. And Gird Riss then going for his second victory of the afternoon. Trevor Banks trying to hold on. So then, Gird Riss. Really going superbly in these very difficult conditions. Trevor Banks keeping him in sight. Joe Screen hanging on in there and coming through as Peter Carr goes through to fourth place. So Peter Carr making up ground and moving on through. Championship only last week is really going superbly here. And Gird Riss then enters the last lap ahead of Trevor Banks and Joe Screen and Peter Carr. And back a little way to Philippe Berge, and Philippe Berge riding well in these difficult conditions, coming through for down the hill. Victory then, it's going to be for number 8, Gird Riss. Second place for number 12, Trevor Banks. In third place, number 4, Joe Screen. Behind him, Peter Carr.
Well, Tony, if I can quickly cut in while we wait for the result of race 13, race 12 even. I've just been informed from the pits that there's a Red Rover that has left his lights fully on, C872YUG. If you're the owner of that car, I suggest you quickly go and turn your lights off. A Red Rover, C872YUG.
The results then of race 11, sponsored by Harp Lager. In first place, number 8, Gird Riss. In second place, number 12, Trevor Banks. In third place, number 4, Joe Screen. In fourth place, number 9, Peter Carr. In fifth place, number 11, Robert Barth. In sixth place, number 20, Philippe Berge. In seventh place, number 17, Václav Milik. In eighth place, number 10 to 9, Christophe Jubenard. And the winner's time of 1 minute 34.9. 1 minute 34.9, and Peter York, I believe, has Marcel Gerhard with him up in the paddock.
Yes, thanks very much indeed. Along with me is Marcel Gerhard. Marcel, you're as dirty as anybody today, but enjoying your racing.
Yeah, dirty is everybody. The first or the last one. The first from the third from the front wheel, and the last for the other boys.
Well, for a few of us, we say congratulations to you for your World Long Track Championship win. That was a great day for you.
Yeah, it's my greatest day in my life. I worked very hard for this World Championship, more than 10 years. And for me, it's good I win with the new Golden engine. I think it's the best.
One heck of a battle today between you and Simon Wigg earlier on.
Yeah, it's normal when two good riders make a hard fight. I think it's correct.
I love your chain coordination colours, red, white, and blue. Not that you can see that from the vantage place, but I can see it here. How come so colourful?
Oh, I'm not correct.
Your chain coloured red, white, and blue.
No, this is normal. It's a French chain, and you can have in all colours. I like red, white, blue.
It's very, very patriotic for British.
Thank you very much.
All right, Marcel Gerhard, lots of luck for later on. Well, he is, along with the other competitors, cleaning off their machines. Interesting, as I say, to look at that chain, red, white, and blue, if you can see it when he comes around for his next ride. Meanwhile, we'll hand you over to Tony. More interviews from the paddock later on.
Well, thanks, Peter. Indeed, we go into the sidecar competition. We start the second leg of the sidecars. They're already on the line and indeed underway. A chance to see action once again. The winner from the first leg, Rustling and Urycz. And it is Rustling that gets to the front as they go into that first corner. So Rustling in very determined form this afternoon gets to the front as we watch them come past us for the first time. Rustling leads from Nevill Penfold. He's moved up into second place at the moment. Foreman holding what was second place have now dropped back to fourth place. It looks as if it's problem for Foreman. But Nevill Penfold and for Randall holding a good second place. A disappointing ride first time out. They finished fifth first time out, so looking to improve, but one rider that doesn't need to improve. He's doing exactly the right things this afternoon. Rustling and Urycz lead race 12. They had a win first time out. This one going for their second. Well, Nevill Penfold still fighting off the challenges that look to be coming behind him. We'll watch them go into that top end as they will pick up the last lap flag this time in race 12, sponsored by the Victoria Lodge Guest House. Well, you can see exactly how they get filled in as they come past you around this very, very mucky circuit. And disappointing to see Rob Wilson right at the back of the field. Rob Wilson, of course, on Roger Meese's outfit this afternoon. Not getting used to it in these conditions. There's problems for John Hiscock as he pulls out on the far side. We watch to see the checkered flag go. That's a second for Rustling and Urycz this afternoon. Nevill Penfold gets a much better result in second place this time. Gary Jackson in third. Rob Wilson up into fourth. The Victoria Lodge Guest House and Rustling putting up the fastest time for the sidecars so far this afternoon. It's number 2 that goes in first place. In second place, outfit number 6, that of course is Nevill Penfold and Paul Randall. In third place, number 14, Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams. Fourth place, number 16, Leonard Ray Foreman. Fifth place, number 18, John Hiscock and Dave French. Sixth place, and a lap down, not lapped on the... There's a lap on the first time round. Number 4 in sixth place, Ron Wilson and Vince Jones. The winning time, 129.93, as I say, the fastest for the sidecars so far this afternoon. 129.93, 2, 6, 14, 16, 18 and 4. Race 13, sponsored by Square Deal Caravans. We move on to a chance to see in action once again Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse. They had a win first time out, but look who joins them on the line. Number 7, Ken Lane and Mark Edwards. They also had a win first time out. These two outfits come together in race 13. They're joined by Paul Pinfold, number 11, and Problems first time out. Mick Cave, number 5, and Steve Jewison, number 1. No Martin Baker. We've been informed from the pits that he has indeed lost a clutch, so no Martin Baker. His place being taken by one of our reserve riders. I'll pick that up for you as they come round, either Richard Jenner or Gary Wright. One of those outfits taking the place of Martin Baker. But a great scrapping prospect between Ivor Matthews and Ken Lane. We watch the scene of Randall. It looks as if Ken Lane has made the best of the start. Ivor Matthews has gone after him as they go into that first bend. As we get to that first bend, it is Ken Lane and Mark Edwards going to come round past me for the first time. Ivor Matthews is right there with him though, as they get close coming past me. Paul Pinfold and Peter Jones are up in the third. Mick Cave is up in the fourth. Richard Jenner in fifth, and that looks as if it is Richard Jenner that's taken the place of Marnie Baker. But we'll keep our eyes on the front because Ken Lane is now being pushed very hard by Ivor Matthews in second. They close up once again on that top end. We watch to see them break off the top end. Ivor Matthews looks very, very tight. Ken Lane has got to keep his wits about him. There's not going to be a lot of room to spare there. Paul Pinfold now being pushed hard by Mick Cave as Mick goes through on the inside. There's hands in the air for Paul Pinfold once again. So problems for Paul Pinfold as we look to the front. Ken Lane and Mark Edwards will know that Rustling has had 2 wins from 2 rides. They will be looking to do the same thing as they come past us to take their last lap flag. Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse sitting there comfortably in second place at the moment. Mick Cave has obviously got himself up into third place and is holding that comfortably as Richard Jenner coming to the event in place of the disappointing performance from Martin Baker. Very hard luck for him this afternoon, losing a clutch in that first heat that he had this afternoon. But as we see the checker flag go, that means that Ken Lane has equalled Rustling. Ken Lane and Mark Edwards take the checkered flag for race 13, followed home in second by Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse. They've had a first and a second. Mick Cave finishes in third place, and Mick Stace and Richard Jenner. Nick Walters finish in fourth. Place number 3, Ivor Matthews and Mike Dowse. Third place, number 5, Mick Cave and Mick Stace. Fourth place, number 20, that's our reserve, Richard Jenner and Nick Walters. The winning time, 1:31.98, 1:31.98 that time, 7, 3, 5 and 20. Over the page we go, and what a fabulous picture in the centre of the programme of the 1991 aces. Clayton Williams, Sam Ermolenko, Marcel Gerhard and Ole Gugaskin. Another change. I'm disappointed to tell you that unfortunately Gary Moon has had to withdraw from the meeting. He also has picked up mechanical problems in that first ride, so his place will be taken by the Wright brothers, Gary and Steve Wright. They will ride as 21. They come in place of Gary Moon. Now an interesting lineup for race 14 because Alan and John Blewitt had a second, Richard Piggott had a second and John Halsey had a second. So 3 outfits coming to the line that have all had second places first time out. Well, I've not been able to pick up at the moment whether there's any advantage of where you're positioned on the gate. Obviously the gate position worked out before the riders got to this meeting. Jerry Adams goes from the inside, Gary Wright will be right on the far outside, here is the crowd. But we've not been able to pick up as yet whether there's been any advantage of where you're positioned on the start line. And we've just unfortunately heard from the pit that also joining the ranks of those with serious mechanical problems is the outfit of Paul Pinfold and Peter Jones. We saw him pull out in that last ride. He in fact has now informed us that he's blown the engine. So very, very disappointing to hear about Paul Pinfold. Of course it does mean that we won't see him anymore this afternoon. We keep our fingers crossed that he can find himself an engine for the final meeting at the Tunbridge circuit. That's next week. We keep our fingers crossed also for the Tunbridge Club for better weather. The circuit is, I'm told, in absolutely perfect conditions. Paul Pinfold has always been a bit of a star down there at the Tunbridge circuit, so we hope that he can find an engine in the week, or indeed repair the one that he's got. It's not too serious a blow-up. It would be a bit disappointing to go down to the Tunbridge burn-up, where they've got a fabulous lineup of riders for next Sunday. And we keep our fingers crossed that Paul Pinfold will be one of the sidecar competitors. So we turn our attention to the start line of race 14. As I say, an interesting one on paper. Riders have got second places first time out. That's Alan and John Blewitt, Richard Piggott, Martin Bailey, and John Halsey, Tony Miles. We look to that far side, it looks as if there's problems to one of our outfits. I think that's Gary and Steve Wright that have got problems. They've now got the motor started, make their way back to behind the start line. The rest of the riders were ready. We'd like to see one flag come back to the end of the air. They get underway and we look to see who it is that's made a better on the start. That's Alan and John Lewis who had a second first time out and get to the front. They really have sorted out their gating this afternoon. That's two excellent starts they've had this afternoon. Richard Piggott is up in the second. It's close for third, but Piggott looks to come through on the inside as Alan and John Lewis have gone extremely wide. Craig Cheatham has just moved through on the inside of John Halsey, but John Halsey goes for that outside line, looking for second place, looking to make up. He gets close, let's say, on that top corner. John Halsey fighting his way through, and another John Lewis back into third place. But it's Richard Piggott that has got himself to the front and looks to be in great form this afternoon. Our 1991 Masters champions, Richard Piggott and Martin Bailey, get to the front. Craig Cheatham has got himself up into second place. John Halsey up into third. Alan and John Blewitt after that tremendous start back in fourth place. Look at the lead that Richard Piggott has got. He really does look to be on song this afternoon. Down off the top of the hill he goes into his last lap. Well, this really is great to see Richard Piggott in this sort of form. As I say, we haven't seen too much of him this year. We hoped that he was saving it for the big meetings, and I'm sure a lot of you that have enjoyed watching Richard Piggott in the past will be keeping your fingers crossed for him this afternoon. Around that top end he goes. He really does look to be quick. The time is going to be interesting as he now comes to the checkered flag. Second place to number 17, that of course is Craig Cheatham and Gary Lane. Third place to John Halsey and Tony Miles. Alan and John Blewitt up a tremendous start, actually finished in fourth place. But Richard Piggott on form this afternoon. Trevor Hedge Racing, a great win for outfit number 12, Richard Piggott and Martin Bailey. Second place, number 17, Craig Cheatham and Gary Lane. Third place, number 19, John Halsey and Tony Miles. Fourth place, number 10, Alan and John Blewitt. Fifth place, number 8, Jerry Adams and Shaun Pittock. Sixth place, number 21, our replacement for Gary Moon, and of course is Gary Wright and Steve Wright. The winning time, 1:30.15, so it's very close to that fast time from Rustling. 12, 17, 19, 10, 8, 21. 1:31.15 the time.
He's Schofield, we've got Will James, we've got Robert Barth and Jeremy Doncaster. That's the field, that is race 15. Jim's mentioned the fact that he and I will be across to the bonfire burnout next week, which is going international for the first time. Other good grass track coming up. We mentioned the Salisbury Hangover at the turn of the year. In fact, in next year on January the 3rd, they're looking there for sponsors. Sponsor a race for £20 and support the Macmillan Trust Hospice. And if you're keen to help them with that one, the telephone numbers are Roy Webb on 0722 325 164 or Dennis Osborne on 0264 324 182. And the Swindon Grass Track Club, which is a bit nearer to my home, a running event on the 1st of November at Smithcott Farm, Dauncey near Chippenham. Starts at 1 p.m, practice 11:30. Signposted from junction 16 and 17 of the M4. No easy races in the Ace of Aces, and certainly this isn't an easy one either. When you look at this lineup of competitors here, really is a splendid one for the Jeremy Doncaster riding at Reading this evening, so he's going to have a busy day's sport. Well, a little bit of over-anxiousness up on the starting line. Here we go, the columns of mud fly in the air, the field comes charging down the hill. Ed Schofield out in front. Well, Steve Schofield determined, absolutely determined to make up for that disappointment. Second place, and so they challenge Schofield very, very hard indeed. And it's Steve Schofield who comes down the hill in first place. In second place it is indeed Robert Barth, and tucked in behind him number 18, Borzhov Hajek. So Borzhov Hajek, the Czech rider we saw do so well at Pinfold a year ago. Schofield, the man who loves this exhibition competition, he's leading, but Robert Barth is really keeping the pressure on, getting his head down, going after him. Still Borzhov Hajek there, then Will James, and then behind him number 17 Václav Milik. And then that looks like Ermolenko coming through, and just behind Doncaster. Where that happens, but Schofield on the top end to our right has dropped out, so it's Robert Barth who leads. Robert Barth then, now ahead of number 18, Borzhov Hajek. In third place as they went past us, number 33, Will James coming up. So we didn't see what's happening. And Robert Barth, twice times European Grasstrack champion, who comes down the hill to take victory. Victory there. In second place, number 18, Borzhov Hajek. And in third place, Will James, and behind him, number 17, Václav Milik. First place, number 11, Robert Barth. Second place, number 18, Borzhov Hajek. In third place, number 33, Will James. In fourth place, number 17, Václav Milik. In fifth place, number 16, Jeremy Doncaster. In sixth place, number 10, Ermolenko. And the winner's time are 1 minute 36.22. 1 minute 36.22. Race 16 gets underway, then carried down the hill. We're looking for Mark Loram, and it's Mark Loram right out in front. Graham Jones goes with him. So it's Mark Loram from Graham Jones as we look across to our right, and down the back straight they go. And he did it again this time. And Ian Barnsley pointed out there was dust appearing on the track just now. So Graham Jones and Václav Werner out there battling away. So that struggle for first three places is extending now, but no doubt about the leader, Mark Loram then right out in front on his own, comes down the hill. 22, Graham Jones in second, in third place in fact. So it looks like Václav Werner in second place, Graham Jones in third. And in one lap, the gap between the first three is extended. As he comes down towards us and heads into the last lap. So the Kings Lynn Speedway man are really going well. Still Václav Werner staying ahead of Graham Jones, and tucked in behind him it's Thierry Hilaire. And we look across to the top bench for the leader, and he's with us again. It's going to be for Masters champion from Mark Loram. In second place it's going to be Václav Werner. In third place it's going to be Graham Jones. In fourth place, number 15, Thierry Hilaire, just ahead of a gaggle of riders. In first place, number 2, Mark Loram. In second place, number 32, Václav Werner. In third place, number 22, Graham Jones. In fourth place, number 15, Thierry Hilaire. In fifth place, number 27, Peter Lloyd. In sixth place, number 26, Tony Forward. In seventh place, number 29, Christophe Dubonard. In eighth place, number 6, Charlie Ermolenko. And the winner's time was 1 minute 35.46. 1 minute 35.46.